We are Mike and Kelly Platt, and we're the principals of Inside Public Accounting. We want to welcome you to our discussion on best practices to complete the IPA survey today. Our intention is that your investment of time over the next 60 to 90 minutes or so will save you a significant amount of time when completing the survey, and hopefully will connect some of the dots, highlighting the connection between you completing the IPA survey and your firm improving its understanding of its strengths and weaknesses, understanding the competitive landscape, and providing insights into key industry analytics and metrics. Before we begin, let me go over some quick housekeeping items with regards to today's discussion. The session is being recorded, so you will be able to access it on demand as you begin completing the survey. We will send a link to the recording to everyone who participates in this session. There are participants from CPA firms all across North America in the session today. To help everyone hear well, we have initially muted all telephone lines. If you have a question as we proceed today, you have several ways of asking it. Either send a chat message through your webinar window at the lower right corner to the organizers, or look for the icon to raise your hand and we'll unmute your line so you can ask your question. This session is not available for CPE, but as I mentioned earlier, our intent is for your investment of time today to save you a lot of time later and help improve your firm's operations to impact the bottom line. So let's take a look at a few best practices to address from the start. You've already received the IPA survey by email. Your firm has determined that you will be the point person in getting it done. You've added it to your to-do list and have put the deadline on your calendar. What can you do to make the process as efficient, as accurate, and as valuable to your firm as possible? Number one, confirm your firm's participation. To ensure that you're on IPA's radar screen and to avoid any unnecessary reminders, please send an email to survey@plattgroupllc.com to confirm that your firm will participate in the survey this year. Number two, begin the process now. Regardless of whether your year-end is December or June, there's a large portion of the IPA survey that you can complete today. Get a head start on the deadline by starting now. Complete the questions that are not dependent on your year-end numbers, and you'll get a big head start. Number three, consult the definitions tab. They're there not only to help you understand what the survey is asking for, but to also normalize the responses so they are more comparable with other firms. Be sure to check the Survey Definitions tab for explanations of what the survey is asking for. Number four, identify the resources in your firm that can help. Review the questions and make a list of the various management reports that you will need to consult to complete the various sections. Also, determine if there is someone else or multiple people in your firm that have quicker access to accurate information, and consider parsing out that section of the survey to them to complete and send back to you. And lastly, consider tracking the information that you're not currently tracking. The IPA survey has been developed over decades of consultation with both practitioners and leading consultants on the kind of information that is most helpful for leaders of CPA firms to know. If your firm is not measuring or tracking some of this data today, consider how it could help you if you did. So let's start with a quick frame of reference regarding the IPA survey. The IPA Survey and Analysis of Firms is a comprehensive benchmarking survey that covers key financial and operational performance measures. We're anticipating about 600 accounting firms participating this year, making the populations you can compare yourself to both robust and more meaningful. We're working with many different accounting associations also to help streamline the survey process and reduce survey fatigue on your end. We're using the same survey for the larger IPA benchmarking report. So the good news is for those of you with an accounting association that we're working with, you'll only have to fill in one survey form. For some associations, participation is a condition of membership. Our audience of participating firms is primarily the top 1,000 accounting firms in the country, so your numbers will be aggregated with other firms of your size for relevant analysis and for benchmarking purposes. So let's take a look at how the IPA survey form is laid out. We're going to have one of our staff completing the form as I go through it here, and everyone should see the form as you received it. When you open the email from us and click on the Excel spreadsheet, you'll be taken to a welcome page with instructions on how to fill out the form, deadlines, and how to submit the form. Your deadlines will be clearly stated here on the welcome page. Some associations have early deadlines to ensure that their data is ready for the spring meetings, and your assistance in meeting the deadlines will be crucial. Here on this document, we see the general deadlines for submissions are May 2nd for firms with a fiscal year end of July through December, May 16th for those with a fiscal year end of January or February, and June 3rd for those with a March or April year end. If your year end is May or June, please be sure to contact us. And if you're with an association with an early deadline and you have an April, May, or June year end, be sure to contact us to discuss your situation. As you look through the welcome page, you will see various instructions, guidelines on what to do, how to fill out the form, and best practices to follow. To get to the actual survey form itself, you can click in the area in blue on row 28 or on the actual IPA survey form tab at the bottom of the screen, and that will take you right to the data entry area. A couple of quick comments on all the tabs before we get into the survey itself. The second tab, the one we're looking at now, is the IPA data entry survey form, which we'll come back to in a second. The next tab is a helpful guide to definitions, so we're all providing comparable information. We encourage you to refer to this tab when completing the form. And finally, the last tab, Firm Clarifications and Notes, is a place for you to provide clarifications or further explanation of an answer if needed. So let's go back to the IPA survey form tab. Over the last few months, we've worked with focus groups, reaching out to various managing partners, CFOs, and firm administrators who are just like you to get input and feedback on ways to enhance the IPA survey, ways to define the questions better, and ways to make responding much easier. For the remainder of our time today, we'll go through each section, highlight changes that were made from last year, and focus on the areas that have given firms the most challenges or areas where the most common mistakes occur. Again, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to chat with us in the lower right-hand corner of the screen, raise your hand, and we will respond to your requests. Okay, here we go. Throughout the IPA survey form, everything that you see in white is an input field, and you'll be able to enter your data here. Starting in rows 8 and 9, this first section, which is covering firm information, let me call your attention to these two rows 8 and 9 specifically. You are the expert in your firm, not us. So please help us by putting your firm name and the managing partner's name exactly as you wish it to appear in print. Anything you put in this field will be considered your approval for how it should appear in print. Rows 15 to 16 tell us how many offices you have and what the change was from last year. If no change, please enter 0 on row 16. On row 17 for the fiscal year end, be sure to tell us not only the month and day of your fiscal year end, but also the year that you are reporting. Our contact information is here in case you have a fiscal year end after May 2016 and would need some kind of extension. Row 20 through 26. Be sure to give us the name of the contacts that we can go back to with questions regarding the survey, and the name of the marketing contact for any accolades, and to in row 25 and 26, the name of the person to receive the complimentary summary. Let's jump down to row 29 in the firm memberships area. When you click on row 29, you'll notice the down arrow here. This indicates that there's a drop-down menu with selections to choose from. These drop-down menus are used throughout the survey, so anytime you see the down arrow when you're in a cell, be sure to click on it. Rows 39 to 43 refer to merger activity for your firm. Complete this section only if you acquired another accounting firm during the year reported. If none, put a 0, type in 0 in row 39. Again, let's look over at the definitions tab here. And we're talking about row 39 to 43. You'll see in row 39, do not include lateral hires, professional staff, or partners that were hired from another firm with a book of business in this area. Mergers and acquisitions should be considered a firm acquisition, partners and staff. All right, back to the survey form itself. On row 43, you will see a question. If you had a merger in the previous fiscal year, prior to the fiscal year you're reporting, please indicate so here so we can have some indication of merger activity 2 years ago. Let's move on to the next section entitled Financial Information. And let me point out some distinctions that will be important to remember. Starting in row 46, we ask for gross revenues of the firm. Some firms tell us that they don't track this information, but we believe all firms should. And if you track realization rates, then clearly you've got some base number to base that number off of, which would be for gross revenues. Total gross revenue from all entities at the firm's fiscal year end, net of client reimbursables, is what we're looking for. Subsidiary revenue should be reported. If the CPA firm owns less than 100% of the subsidiary, please include the percentage of revenue equal to the percentage of ownership of the subsidiary. The actual dollar amount of gross revenue should represent all revenues that your time and billing system says you should charge at standard billing rates. Please report accrual basis revenues before bad debt write-offs. Row 47 focuses on net revenue, which is the actual billed amount, net of actual client reimbursables from all entities that were included in the firm's gross revenue number. Write-ups and write-downs should be included in this number, but bad net debts should not be. In row 48, we're asking for organic net revenue growth, percentage growth from the previous reporting year for organic growth only. Please do not include the effects of mergers on net revenue percentage change. However, any revenues from existing clients brought into the firm through lateral hires, which is a partner with an existing book of business brought in from another firm, that is considered organic growth. Row 49 asks for total net revenue growth, percentage growth from the previous reporting year from all sources of revenue for the firm, which includes mergers. So if you had no mergers last year, row 48 and row 49 should be the same. Row 50 asks for the percentage of the firm's net revenue derived from something other than charge hours. Many firms provide services that generate revenue regardless of charge hours, such as revenues on assets under management or success fees over and above the work performed. Please indicate the percentage of the firm's total net revenues derived from something other than charge hours. If none, please enter 0% here. In this next section, net revenues by service area, starting on row 51, we're looking for a breakdown of the total net revenues that you put into row 47 by service area. Please be sure to complete this section based on each service area's net revenue, and be sure that the total that is automatically summed in row 71 is the same as the total in row 47. If you have services that are not listed here, please enter the dollar amounts and names of the service or entity in rows 68, 69, and 70. Notice the fields in white on row 68 to 70 in column C. This is where you can tell us the names of the other service areas. The next section, starting on row 73, industry niches, asks for the top 3 niches as a percentage of net revenue. Please indicate the top 3 industry niches of your firm based on total net revenues derived from those niches, if applicable. If an industry niche is not provided in the drop-down menu, go to the very bottom of the drop-down menu and select Other, and define it in column C of the appropriate row on the Survey Input tab. In rows 74, 76, and 78, please indicate the percentage of the total net revenue of the firm that niche provides. Any new niche practices that you're looking to launch in the current fiscal year should be added on rows 80 to 82. And again, we've got the same drop-down menus with the opportunity to select Other at the very bottom if it's something that's not included in the drop-down itself. Let me pause for a second for any questions related to firm revenues. If you have any questions at all, feel free to either raise your hand on the panel or just type in a question and we will respond to it. You'll be able to ask questions throughout the session here, so if you don't have it right now, we'll be sure to get back to it. Okay, seeing none, let's look at the firm net income area starting on row 84. In row 84, we're looking for the total net income of the firm prior to any equity partner distributions. Let's again jump to the Definitions tab for clarification. And we're looking at row 84, so we'll scroll down to row 84, total net income before equity partner distributions. This is net revenue less all expenses. Include among expenses payments to non-equity partners and payments to retired partners, but do not include as expenses any unique equity partner benefits such as a car allowance, salaries or compensation, or return on capital of current equity partners. Let's go back to the survey form. Row 85 and 86 ask for organic and all growth of net income from the previous fiscal year. For organic in row 85, again, do not include the effects of mergers on net income percentage growth or decline. Income from revenue from existing clients brought into the firm through lateral hires, again, a partner with an existing book of business hired into the firm, should be included in the firm's organic growth. The all growth percentage increase or decrease in net income from the previous reporting year in row 86 includes all sources of income, including mergers. For row 87, we want to know how much of the net income of the firm is expected to be distributed to equity partners either during the fiscal year being reported or in the first few months of the current fiscal year to the equity partners in the forms of compensation, bonuses, unique benefits, profit sharing, or anything else like that. If all the profits of the firm are earmarked for distribution, the number here would be 100%. Row 90, we're looking for the percentage increase for stated billing rates and how that will increase next year. Row 91 asks for the realization rate, which is defined as the total amount billed divided by the actual charge hours times standard billing rates. The numerator would be what was actually billed. The denominator would be all charge hours before any write-offs multiplied by full standard billing rates before any write-downs or write-ups. This metric is a combined measurement of chargeable time that was not recorded, captured time that was not billed, and billing rates that were different up or down from standard rates. Any questions on the net income or the firm-wide billing and collection section? Again, you will be able to refer to the definitions tab as you go through the process here for a little bit more detail on what we are looking for in these areas. Let's move on to the accounts receivable area, starting in row 93. This is pretty straightforward. Row 93, we're looking for total accounts receivable on accrual basis. And please go ahead and include your allowance for doubtful accounts in row 93. In row 95, for total unbilled work in progress, that number should be adjusted if applicable for any additional potential write-offs or write-downs that you're expecting to reflect truer value. Please report this number based on what you expect to bill it at so we can have a more accurate picture of the value of your work in progress. This next section on firm costs, starting in row 99, is a snapshot of some of the major areas of expenses that are of interest to firm leaders. It's not intended to be a complete income statement. What goes into each bucket is not mutually exclusive. For instance, a marketing director's salary should be included in the firm-wide personnel percentage on row 99, as well as also included in the marketing costs on row 101. The same will apply for technology costs on row 102. If you've got a technology director, their compensation should be both included in row 102 as well as row 99. Be sure not to include equity partner time, equity partner compensation, or any unique benefits to equity partners in any of the areas included in firm costs. In all cases, please report as a percentage of the firm's total net revenues. For complete definitions of what goes into each bucket, be sure to consult the Definitions tab. And you'll find it starting on row 99 as we're looking at the additional firm cost section. All right, let's go back to the survey. Row 106, 107, and 108, we're looking for office space being utilized by the firm, how much you own, and how much you lease. If the firm is obligated for space that is not being utilized, please include it on the overall square footage for the firm's fiscal year end. If the firm has office space that's being subleased during the firm's fiscal year end, please exclude that from rows 106 to 108. Since some firms were having trouble having owned plus leased add up to 100%, we've made it a little bit easier for you and have made it so just you need to tell us on row 107 how much you own, and row 108 will automatically fill in that amount of difference from 100%. On row 110, firm capital. This is the classic accrual basis GAAP definition. Assets minus liabilities equal capital. This is equity partners' equity in the firm, partners' capital in a partnership, and members' capital in an LLC. Be sure to exclude any liabilities for retirement obligations and any funded retirement assets. Before we move on to the next section, let's go ahead and pause again to see if there are any questions. All right, we're not seeing anything. We must be doing a good job of explaining it here. Let's take a look at this next section, the matrix as we call it, rows 115 through 135. Because this is the most common area where firms struggle, causing us to go back to firms for clarifications. One of the questions we get most often is how to calculate full-time equivalents. In column C, we're looking for FTE broken out by all the different levels of staffing within a firm. For IPA's survey, we're looking for the full-time equivalent count of the people available to you during your fiscal year. Full-time equivalents cannot be more than one, but can be less than one FTE. FTE should be based on a 2,080 hour year. If you have a full-time person that started on July 1st, they would be considered 0.5 FTE. If you have a full-time person who works 30 hours a week, they would be considered 0.75 FTE. If you have a partner who was admitted on October 1st, please consider them a 0.25 FTE for your fiscal year end. In column D, please indicate the total charge hours for each staff grouping. So here for these 6 equity partners that we've got identified, you will put in the total number of charge hours for those 6 people. Let's put in a wrong number for a moment, and let's make it 15,000. Note that pop-up warnings and the per person's, note the pop-up warnings here, that we have put in here what we expect to see for a lot of these numbers. It'll give you a pop-up warning to indicate that this is out of the range of what we expect. You can override that warning, or you can cancel this pop-up and go ahead and cancel that, and then you can just retype in the correct number in there, and then we can go forward with it. So let's put in 12,000 or in there. Let me also bring your attention to the far right side of the form in columns L and M in purple here. This is a checking mechanism that we have put in that will help you assess the validity of the entries that you're making. It will provide for you the average annual charge hours per person based on the FTE number that you gave us, and it will put in the average annual work hours per person based on that same FTE count. This is a good place to double check to make sure that the entries that you're giving us just makes sense to you. In this case, 367 average work hours per partner does not make sense. So we will go back and fix that number appropriately. In column E for total work hours, be sure to exclude any and all paid time off for all staff levels. That includes holidays, vacation, sick time, and jury. All that should be excluded from the totals. In column F, we're looking for average stated billing rates for the group. So please go ahead and just give us an average in column F. For column G, we're looking for average compensation for the individuals in each group. Notice on row 124 for 0 to 2 year experienced people, we want to include interns in columns C, D, E, and F, but do not include intern compensation in column G, as it just skews the results. Next, let me call your attention to row 131. This is the total FTE client service professionals with an active CPA license. This is not part of the auto-summed fields that are being added in column C. We want to know of the professional staff that's highlighted in row 130, how many of them as full-time equivalents are CPAs? So just the professional staff up above. You'll see that the totals get summed all the way at the bottom. So in row 135, the total FTE, total charge hours for the firm, and total work hours for the firm will be there. Let's go down to the next section, starting in row 137, the professional staff turnover area. In row 137, we're looking for professional staff turnover percentage. This is the percentage of full-time equivalent professional staff, including all professional staff, all paraprofessionals, and all partners who left the firm during your fiscal year. Divide that number by the total number of FTE professional staff at the start of the firm's fiscal year. Be sure here to exclude all interns and all seasonal staff. In rows 138 and row 139, voluntary and involuntary turnover, we're actually looking for the number here, number of full-time equivalent professional staff. Again, include all professional staff, paraprofessionals, and partners who left the firm on their own in row 138, and those who were let go by the firm in 139. Be sure to exclude all interns and seasonal staff in these areas as well. There are 4 things to keep in mind for this section. Number 1, be sure to report a number, not a percentage, in row 138 and row 139. Number 2, be sure to report based on FTE, not a head count. Number 3, be sure to report only the turnover of professional staff, including partners, not administrative staff. And number 4, be sure to exclude all interns and seasonal staff from your calculations. All right, so we have a question that has come in. If we can go back up to row 118 in the matrix. Question is, what is included in column G, row 118? So what we're looking for is total equity partner average compensation. Let's jump over to the definitions tab and see what row 118G is looking for. So if we go down one below that, we'll see row 118G, equity partner compensation, includes salaries, guaranteed payments, bonuses, commissions, or other discretionary allocations from all entities, and return on capital. Exclude retirement contributions and non-unique benefits. So if the partners get life insurance like everybody else, that would not be considered a unique benefit. But if they get life insurance over and above, then the premiums for that would be included. So questions like that, as you're looking to see what's included, be sure to consult the definitions tab. All right, back to the survey form. Let's go down to the next section, which is internal firm operations. This section identifies the professional management or administrative positions within the firm. We've expanded the drop-down menus this year to get a more accurate picture of who is serving in this role. We're asking here for whether you've got someone on staff who's full-time but not a client-serving partner. They're part-time, not a client-serving partner. They are a client-serving partner and they're serving in that role. You do have the role and it's outsourced, or you don't have that role whatsoever. So please, when you're filling in this internal firm operations area, be sure to select the appropriate drop-down number. For the annualized compensation, for each one of the areas here. Salary information, please note, will be kept confidential and will not appear in any IPA publication. Be sure to include salary, bonuses, overtime, and commissions. If less than one full-time equivalent person in that role, please be sure to annualize total compensation. So we get a lot of firms that might have a half-time marketing director making $30,000 a year. Be sure to put them in as a marketing director with an annualized compensation, in this case, of $60,000. If available, please also provide years of experience and years with the firm, specifically if you select that you are outsourcing the role, just so we can get some understanding. If they're outsourcing it, we're looking for the years under the contract with the firm. Use the Firm Clarifications tab if you need to expand on your answers in this section. One last item in that section back in row 148, the CEO role. We're trying to identify the professional management, which is an administrative CEO reporting to the managing partner, reporting to the executive committee, or reporting to the partner group. This is not the traditional managing partner role. It's a professional administrative executive brought in to run the firm so the partners can focus on client-related activities. All right, let's move down to the next section on firm ownership. Here we're looking for, in rows 195 through 200, average compensation for all of the different defined individuals: newly admitted non-equity partners, newly admitted equity partners, highest equity partner compensation, lowest equity partners compensation, and the total managing partner compensation. In row 200, just to clarify, total managing partner compensation is the total, not the additional amount paid to the managing partner. Down in row 204, we're asking if equity partners receive compensation credit for any of the items listed below in row 206 to 217. If the answer is yes, then we're asking for you in 206 to 217 to identify the components of the partner compensation formula used in your firm. Please select yes if partners get compensation credit for any of the behaviors or activities on this list. This next section, rows 219 to 227, is exclusive to information about equity partners. If you're not tracking some of this information, you should consider the potential value of doing so. Everything here is pretty straightforward. Let me call your attention to row 227. We're looking for the number of equity partners that are not licensed CPAs. Please note that this is not the total number of non-equity partners. These are equity partners who are not licensed CPAs. This next section on managing partner is specific to the managing partner of the firm. Again, this is a pretty straightforward section. If you've got several people sharing the managing partner role, please either provide an average where appropriate, or just give us the two numbers with a slash in between so we will know the ages of the two people. Hopefully you don't have anybody who's 99 years old running the firm, but you never know anymore. All right, row 235. What dollar amount of client business does the managing partner personally manage? This is the managing partner's book of business, their specific client responsibilities. If the managing partner is focused 100% on firm management, indicate $0 here. All right, starting on row 237, newly admitted partners. This section addresses both equity and non-equity partners. so be sure to read the question carefully to see which one is being addressed. We're looking for a head count here, not full-time equivalents. Please report only those people who were admitted during your fiscal year that you're reporting on. On row 239 and 241 in that section, we're asking for, of those partners that were admitted, how many were lateral partners? Please indicate how many people were hired in directly from another firm and brought into your firm at the partner level, be it either equity or non-equity partner. In row 243, if you have a buy-in amount for new equity owners, a capital requirement, what is the average amount? Indicate the dollar amount here in row 243. In row 244 through 250, this section identifies the specifics of a partner retirement plan. Indicate if the firm's partnership agreement defines the terms for a retirement plan for equity partners. A traditional 401k would not qualify as a partner retirement plan. If you do not have a specific retirement plan defined by the terms of your partnership agreement, indicate no on row 245. Starting on row 251 is our firm planning and governance section. This section provides a snapshot of the tools of planning and governance used in the firm. Please select yes if you have any of these tools in place within the firm. If you're unsure if you have them, be sure to leave it blank. Please note, some tools are specifically indicated as formal or written, like a formal client acceptance guidelines or a written core values. Be sure to answer only if these are formal and written down. If it's in one person's head only, then you would not have that within the firm. After rows 251 and 275, the firm planning and governance was our old benefits section. We've removed the benefits section from this survey. It's now incorporated in the IPA Human Resources Survey. If you have not gotten a copy of the Human Resources Survey and would like to participate in that survey, as well as the one for the firm administration and the information technology, all three separate internal operations survey, be sure to contact us. Several associations have some unique questions following this area right before firm challenges. If you're with one of those associations and you have additional questions there, those have been specifically requested by your association, so please be sure to fill them out. Starting in row 391, firm challenges. Please select from the drop-down menu the major firm challenges that your firm faces. If you're filling this in for the managing partner, be sure to contact the managing partner to get their input. As before, if your selection is not listed, select Other and type in your issue in column C. Below that, in 394, we're asking for the most admired peer in the profession. Again, if you are operating on behalf of and filling this out on behalf of the managing partner, please consult with the managing partner to name one peer in the profession that you admire. We're looking for practitioners, not consultants, for this most admired peer area. The next section, starting on row 397, we're looking for up to 3 outside consultants or companies that your firm has used that you would recommend to others. It's really important for us to help identify valuable resources that others can tap into. Please do not leave this section blank. If you've used a consultant or used a company that has helped you in the last year, be sure to put this section down. Row 402. Does your firm wish to opt out of all IPA accolades based on this survey? IPA uses the results of this survey to identify firms for accolades such as Best of the Best, IPA 100, IPA 200, and 300 firm rankings, as well as fastest growing firms. Most firms would like to be considered for these public accolades, but if for some reason you don't want your firm to receive the recognition from IPA, you may opt out here. We've preset it as no, as most firms want to be included in the accolades, but you've got the option. Row 403, we would encourage the managing partner, the CEO, or the CFO of the firm to sign off on this survey submission to help ensure that all data is submitted correctly and to reduce the need for clarifications. Please have the managing partner review this survey prior to submission. So, a couple questions to answer. How long does this survey take to pull together all responses for you? There's really no rule of thumb to answer that. Our first response came back within 24 hours of receiving the survey. That firm has participated in the past and had set up a system to identify which reports they need to pull the data from. If your firm has the management reporting systems in place that capture the data requested, you should be able to access it all relatively easily. If you don't have those systems in place, it certainly can take a little longer. Much of what we ask for will come from your time and billing system, your payroll system, and your knowledge of the various tools you use for compensation, governance, and employee benefits. All right, couple of other things that we can show you. A few more things as we're wrapping up. Number one, there is no cost to participate in the survey. You will get all fully participating firms will receive a copy of the August newsletter, which is a complimentary copy of the IPA 100 firm rankings and the analysis of the top 100 firms. Every participating firm will receive an executive summary. Every firm that participates will get the complimentary IPA executive summary when published in September, which is by itself a pretty comprehensive snapshot of current trends and metrics that you can use to help manage your firm. Please note that the executive summary is not the full report. You will get consideration for accolades, the IPA 100, 200, 300, best of the best, and fastest growing firms. And you will get preference for selection in articles written by IPA throughout the year. We're always looking for what firms are doing uniquely and differently that we can then report. So firms that participate will get a preference over firms that do not participate in this. You will also get discount pricing on the full IPA benchmarking report. If you're with an association that is working with us, you will receive a complimentary full report. If not, you will get discount pricing for participating in the survey. You'll also have the opportunity to order a custom IPA benchmarking report that compares your firm's performance on critical metrics against other firms who participate, other firms close to your size, and the best firms with the simple green, yellow, red markers that guide you to areas that your firm is excelling in or needs improvement in. We've offered the IPA benchmarking report card for several years now, and firms that have purchased this IPA report card report that it's a great catalyst for discussion in partner meetings and quickly helps focus discussion on areas the firm can improve in. If you want to get more information about the report card, go to our website at insidepublicaccounting.com and you'll be able to get some additional information as well as an order form. If you participated in 2015, we can still run a report card for your 2015 data. And then just to know it's available for you for the survey that you're filling in for 2016. The internal operational report. Some of you received with your email recently 3 additional surveys, which include firm administration, human resources, and information technology, the input forms for those 3. These are 3 additional optional surveys that IPA has developed to delve deeper into these areas of practice. Deadlines for all 3 operational surveys is June the 3rd. As with the MAP survey, there's no cost to participate in these surveys, and you will receive a complimentary executive summary when all the data has been compiled later this year. If you don't have these surveys and you'd like to participate, please contact us and we'll be happy to send them to you. If you'd like to see a copy of the 2015 and like to order a copy of the full 2015 full reports broken out by firm size as well as geography for firm administration, human resources, and information technology, go to InsidePublicAccounting.com and go to benchmarking, and you'll find information on these 3 areas. Well, that's the end of our session today. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for your participation in the IPA survey. Your participation helps make this one of the largest MAP surveys available to the profession, and we appreciate the trust and confidence that you've placed in our firm to deliver the gold standard in benchmarking to you and to the profession. This presentation will be available for download. We will send you a follow-up email with the link, and it will be available on our blog. If you have any questions that have not been answered, feel free to contact us at survey@plattgroupllc.com. Thanks again for your participation in today's webinar. Thanks again for your participation in the IPA survey, and be sure to contact us for any information you might need on the MAP survey, firm administration, human resources, information technology, the report card, or any of the additional services that Inside Public Accounting provides to help make firms better. Thanks again, and have a great day.